Howdy folks, Big Anklevich here. I used to be 300 pounds, but I found the carnivore diet and I've lost 100 pounds and I'm feeling great. I used to have diabetes. The diabetes is in remission. I don't even worry about it anymore. And you can have that too. All you need to do is get into the carnivore diet and make it your lifestyle. It will change your life and for the better at that. So what we've been doing for 6 months now, actually, is daily videos here. We call it the Carnivore Challenge, and we do them month by month. This is the August Carnivore Challenge. In the middle of the summer, we've been calling the Hardcore Summer. Yeah, and what we've been doing daily videos on that. And each month, as we come to the end of that month, we always do a little roundup where we talk about just how things went for the month. And then we talk about, what we're going to do for the next month, how we're going to take this forward and push on and get even better. So let's head into that and check it out. See just how this month went. You're on Big Anklevich on health. Okay, so August is over. How did my August go? How did it turn out? Well, we always use, unfortunately, it's probably the best way that we can do it, but we weigh in every month. It's not a perfect measurement, but it's what we got. I have a few other measurements that I'll talk about before we're done here, but to start with, we're going to do the measurement for this month. So how did I finish out August? As you know, from the last few days, I got under 200 pounds for the first time in, I don't know, to 28. How many years is it since 1996? It's 29 years? First time in 29 years that I've weighed under 200 pounds. Pretty exciting. Did I manage to stay under 200 pounds? Well, the good thing was that I was fasting right before the end of the month. So here is my final weight. That's right. I came in at 197.6, which is pretty good. That's the best I've been so far. It's even lower than the weight that got me into Wonderland in the first place. So that's pretty exciting. I was so excited that I took a picture of the scale too. Yeah, there's the scale. Now let's see what the scale said last month. At the end of last month, I was at 211.6, which is substantially higher than 197.6. That means that I lost 14 pounds this month. Exactly 14. That is one of the best months that I've had since we started into this thing. I did have one better month, and I think about why it is that this month turned out so successful. Why did I make it to Wonderland? Why did I lose 14 pounds? I mean, I had a lot of issues this month. I kept eating cheese again and again and again, which always makes me put weight on. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at this graph right here. This is my weight graph for the month. And you can see just how jagged it is. Now that's the way it's going to be no matter what if you're fasting, because when you fast, you come down a lot. And then when you eat, you go back up a pretty decent amount. And you go up and down. It's a squiggly, roller coaster of ride, but it's generally downward, as you can see. Funny thing about this graph is that it wouldn't give me from August 1st to September 1st. It'll only show me 30 days, so I've got August 2nd. If you see there at the end, it says I'm 208. But let me smush the graph over a little bit. Yeah, I started out the month actually at 211, so it should be a little higher of a roller coaster ride. But yeah, I started at 211. I came down to 197.6, but a lot of ups and downs along the way. And I think the reason for that is because of the fasting that I was doing. I think that's what saved me. I don't think I would have had such a good month. But this month, the one thing that I really, changed up from other months is that I decided to do 72-hour fasts. Well, I mean, close to 72-hour fasts. I never quite made it to 72, but I was at 68 or so usually. And those fasts I did every weekend. And those tended to wipe out any, mistakes that I made. I kept screwing up, eating cheese, stuff that I, shouldn't do. My body doesn't really like cheese. It gives me gas, causes me problems, and it always makes me retain water. And I gain more weight than I should if I eat cheese. And I kept doing it because I've got terrible resolve. But I also kept doing the fasting, and the fasting would bring me right back down and basically wipe out my mistakes. Now, I really want to see what it would be like if I did a month where I didn't make mistakes over and over again. That is what my plan is for this month coming up. I want to do a month where there are no stupid mistakes, or at least there's minimal stupid mistakes, sadly. On the first, I already had a mistake, but we're gonna not talk about that. We're gonna move on. We're going beyond that. For the rest of the month, second on out, there's gonna be no mistakes this month. I've got my plan of how to deal with things. I'm gonna eat only at work, because if I eat only at work, then I can only eat what I have, what I brought, and then I can just, eat that and that alone. And then when I fast, do my 2-day fasts on the weekends, then I'll get some real, gains, I was going to say, but that's probably not quite the right wording. Get some real progress. And there we go. So yeah, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try doing the fasts on the weekend, plus no cheese, no screw ups, just eating what I have at work, and that's it. We're going to see what kind of a difference that can make. Now that I'm under 200 pounds, what I'm really shooting for is my final goal. I think that 185 is probably the right weight for me. According to my height, like the BMI range says that I should be somewhere between, I think, 150 and 190. I don't think I could get anywhere close to 150. I think I would look like skin and bones at that point. But I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see. When I get to 185, we'll look around and, take a look at myself and be like, am I as far as I can go, or do I need to go farther? It's hard to say. But 185 is the goal that I'm trying to get to. Now, if I lost 14 pounds this month, I would be there. I don't know if that's possible. Usually it's not. I'm surprised that I could get 14 pounds this month. I would have guessed that 5 or 6 pounds a month is going to be my absolute maximum. And that's kind of what I'm shooting for this month. But I wouldn't be upset to get to my final goal by the end of the month. That would be pretty awesome. And who knows, maybe the 2-day fasts every weekend can help me get there. I don't know. But that is my goal for this month, and that's my process, what I plan to do. Real quick, we're going to take a look at some other stuff. You can see here, this is my graph for my fat percentage. My fat percentage started at 24.2 and fell all the way down to 21.9. So I'm down to 21.9 fat percentage. I'd like to get to 15% fat percentage. I don't know what that'll take and what I would look like if I got there. I'm interested to know. 21.9 is still a little high according to, apps and graphs and things like that I've seen. So maybe I got to get down there. I don't know. I think under 20 is supposed to be pretty good, but right around 15, I'd like to try. See if I can get to that. And this is my muscle percentage. Started at 48.9 and came up to 50.4. That's raising. I wasn't even doing anything to get it to raise this month other than losing some weight. I didn't work out or anything like that. All I did was walk every day. That's the full extent of the exercise that I did. I'm not doing workouts right now, although sometime pretty soon that's going to be my goal for the month. Maybe in October that's what I'll do. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, I'm just going to keep doing the walking and the fasting to get it. But it's nice to see my muscle percentage coming up, my fat percentage going down, and the weight going the way I want it to go. Pretty excited. It's going pretty well. And here's another interesting thing. Check this out. That is the weight that I started at in 2019 when I first did Carnivore, when I did my very first video on this channel and I started into my carnivore journey. I weighed 297. What do I weigh today? 197. That's right. Can you believe it? I'm basically 100 pounds down. That's really cool. It's a nice even number, although it's really not quite even. It's 99.4 pounds down, but it's almost exactly 100 pounds. It's so exciting to be there. Also from March to August, if you look at Marches, which is when we started this, 6 months ago with me and Marshall, we started doing our carnivore challenge, me and him working together. And I started out at that time, I was in really bad shape. I was not feeling good about myself. And I started out at 250.2. I'd been doing nothing but eat cheese and drink cream for several months. And I'd gained so much weight, even on carnivore. I hadn't gone off carnivore, but I'd still gained a lot of weight. And I'd gone all the way up to 250.2. So in that time, just since March, I've come down 52.6 pounds. Again, really exciting, really cool to look back at all this time and see how things have gone. So I've told you my plan and what we're going to do in March was when we started. What we're going to do in September as we start into the second half year of these carnivore challenges. We're going to see how it goes. Let's head over and see how Marshall did this month and what his plan is for the upcoming month.
Hey everybody, it's the end of another month, which means that it's time to reconcile with how I've done throughout the month of August. However, I'm also looking at this as we've been doing this now since the beginning of March, which is 6 months of trying my best. Sometimes not my best, but lately it's been clicking a lot more of doing the carnivore challenge. 6 months of doing this. So let me just report on August first, and then I'll kind of look into the bigger picture of how things are. I was a little bit surprised, to be honest. So I did really well in the month of August. I lost 8.2 pounds, which isn't like skyrocketing, but it's pretty good. I mean, I feel good about that number. I remember I felt like when I was doing this in 19, come on. When I was doing this in 2022, back when Big and I were doing this the last time, we had about another 6 month period. And in that 6 month period, I lost just about 60 pounds. It was just under 60 pounds that I had lost. And when I look at the entire 6 months since we've started this journey, I've lost 39 pounds. 39.1, I believe. I got my little cheat sheet down here. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, 39.1 pounds. And so I'm not doing as well as I did back 3 years ago, but I'm still, I feel like I'm doing better now. It's like, well, let me go through. So in March, I started off gangbusters. I lost 17 pounds in that month. I think that's just because I hadn't been doing anything. I'd been eating crappy. And that was the first time I kicked in. I think I did beef, butter, bacon, egg pretty strictly for that month. And I lost 17 pounds. So that was pretty cool. I remember back when I was doing it in 22, I had a month where I lost like 17.2 pounds or something like that. And yeah, that feels like, boy, this is going to be easy. I can do this. But then I started to struggle. I don't know. Well, if you've been listening, I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, but in the month of April, it was pretty much a wash. I pretty much didn't lose any weight, but if I'm going to be technical, like I'm trying to be, I did gain 0.2 pounds in the month of April. And so that wasn't, I mean, it wasn't terrible that I wasn't gaining all that weight back, but I wasn't making the progress that I wanted to do. And so in the month of May, I lost 2.7 pounds. So again, I did a little bit better than the month before, but I was really struggling. And I know I was messing up a lot. You know, I was eating soda, drinking soda, eating cookies. You know, every once in a while I would go off and I would have a Taco Bell or something like that. So I wasn't being very consistent, and that it showed in my results. It started to get better. So in June, I lost 7.2 pounds, which is pretty good. And then 4.2 pounds in July. And now I've lost 8.2 pounds. So I'm increasing. Well, you know, in the long run, I'm getting back. I'm getting my groove back. Call me Stella. But, you know, to be honest, this month, August, I really did feel like things started to click. I was fasting, you know, 3 days. Well, I didn't do it every week, but generally 3 days a week. And I've been walking a lot more, especially in the last 2 weeks. It's really been clicking for me. And it's kind of like, you know, I'm trying to crack a safe, and every month the tumbler, one of the tumblers goes away, and then I have to crack the next one. I'm getting close to opening the safe and just opening up some you know, some whoop ass on the carnivore and my weight loss and health journey here. So I'm going to use the month of September here to open up that can, open up that safe, and crack that lock, and just get into just killing it with the carnivore. And yeah, I definitely think the walking helps. I know the fasting helps, the consistent fasting, and you know, just getting your body in a rhythm of, hey, I don't have to eat all the time. I can go without eating for a day or 36 hours. And then I can eat, and then I can go for another 36 hours. And then I can eat, and then I can go for another 36 hours. And then I get to eat a little bit more. I get to eat a couple days before and I think that really helps. You know, it's training my body to do what I want instead of just caving in and doing whatever my body says it wants. And that's the key to this. It's all mental. It's all mind over matter. And I feel pretty encouraged. And I'm out there on my long walks and I feel motivated. You know, before, when I was doing my walks, I just said, okay, I have to walk. Here I am. I'm going on my walk, you know. But in these last couple of weeks, I've really said, no, I want to get out there and walk. And, you know, maybe I'm tricking myself with, I can only listen to the Stephen King book when I'm on my walk. You know, maybe that's helping. But I think I'm just feeling better about it. And I am losing some weight, so that helps in the walking, which helps in losing weight, which helps in walking. And I want to keep this cycle going on. So did I have any other stats I wanted to share? Well, I guess if you look at 39.1 pounds in 6 months, that's an average of 6.5 pounds about a month, losing 6.5 pounds a month. That's not too bad. That's better than I thought. I mean, I was thinking I'm really not performing well on this the last 6 months. You know, this attempt, 2025's version of the carnivore versus 2022's, and I'm doing better than I thought I was. I mean, it's 39 pounds instead of almost 60 pounds. So I'm not doing as good as I was doing on that. And but let's see how it goes. And, you know, we can do this another 6 months, and then another 6 months, and then another 6 months. And I don't know how long we're going to do these daily videos and stuff, but we'll just, you know, keep going strong. And so I'm not changing a darn thing for September. I'm going to keep doing fasting 3 times a week, 36 hours. I'm going to keep trying to walk every day, you know, and see where that gets me. And yeah, I just feel like I'm locking into it. Like I'm in the groove. You know, if you think about that, you know, if you're anyway, I'm not going to get into metaphor. I'm not ready for that this morning, but anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm feeling encouraged. I'm feeling good about where I'm going. And I don't feel like I'm just playing at doing this. I feel like I'm really in it now. And I've said that before and I've failed and whatever. But I don't plan to fail. And I like I said, I feel locked in. So that's the note that I'm going out on. And we'll see where I'm at the end of September. I really hope that I'm down. Oh, I guess my goal, if I'm going to have a goal, I want to lose 10 pounds or more in the month of September. So that's my goal. Get in the double digits of pounds lost in the month. And again, like we've said, the scale isn't everything. The weight that you lose isn't the whole story, but it's a great marker, right? I mean, it's a motivating factor. So there you go. That's my story. And we're going to keep going. There we go. There's that catchphrase again. Going to keep going. Bye-bye.
All right, Stella, way to go. Keep it up. It's good to see you getting your groove back. Good to see you really getting into it and enjoying it and loving it and feeling that excitement again. Let me tell you, we're going to keep doing these videos as long as we need to. All right, Marshall? That's how long we're going to do them. So, you know, you're not going to be able to ditch me as much as you might want to. I'll be here dogging at your heels forever. But yeah, I think you're doing great. 6 pounds an average every month. That'll get you someplace. And that's the way it goes too. Some months you're good. Some months you're bad. Look at this. I was 206.6 on the 1st of June. And then on the 1st of July, I was 216. So you think gaining 0.2 pounds that one month was bad. I gained 10. And yet here I am 2 months later, and I'm all the way down at 197, and I finally got to my goal. So, if you just don't give up. I think that's the biggest, most important thing. Don't give up. Just keep going. Like you say, your little catchphrase, keep going. And you'll get there eventually. Maybe it'll be slow and steady that wins the race. Maybe you'll be the little engine that could. Maybe I'll think of some other childhood story that can inspire you. Your mountain is waiting. Get on your way, Marshall. All right. There you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video, this wrap-up of August. And I hope you're with us every step of the way through September as we keep on going till we can regain our health completely. And we can help you do the same. We'll see you guys next time on Big Anklevich on Health.